All right, let's see what we got here with Guild Wars 2. Combining raids and strike missions in 2026. If not the probably biggest improvement, if not the only improvement needed. QOL, I love to see this. This is something that's been asked about for years, I think, at this point, is having both modes combined. Very excited to actually see this. This was asked for since before End of Dragons, you know, when they introduced it in Icebrood Saga, the strikes. Very curious to see this. And we've already got the sort of test run that we have with fractals, you know, kind of like a dungeon finder thing going on. So here we go. Combining raids and strike missions in 2026. Hey folks, this is Brian Yarrow, Combat Systems Lead on Guild Wars 2, and I'm here to talk to you about something really exciting that's coming with the first major update to Guild Wars 2, Visions of Eternity, early next year. As we announced in July, we're merging the strike mission and raid game modes into a single game mode, which will just be called Raids. We'll be releasing another blog on this topic in the coming months with more granular details, but today I want to focus on why we're doing this and how we got here. Why they're merging strikes and raids. Strike missions were originally designed to help players transition from open world content into raid content. They were intended to be quicker to complete than a full raid wing and have slightly less complicated mechanics as well. Over time, our data indicated that strike missions weren't performing as the content bridge we were hoping for. When we dug into the details of why this was happening, we found a number of reasons that we believed were all contributing factors. We've been attempting to address these over the last few expansions. Interesting, because like in a sense, yes, the first Icebrood Saga Living World strike missions, those are very introductory strike missions, right? Like even the combat one, that's just like a longer version of the boss with the mobs that you have to keep fighting. It's very introductory stuff, but I feel like later on they sort of did kind of become with somewhat difficulty, right? Like the EOD ones were pretty good in my opinion. Like they like normal difficulty wise, you know, the first two were easy, but then they get a bit slightly difficult as you go. You know, still nothing grueling like raids, but they did definitely increase their difficulty. And I think then when they introduced their hard mode challenges for them, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. And then as we went, we even got Sarah's CM. You know, so the Soro ones were very easy normal mode, but definitely their hard mode and their challenge mode was significantly different. But okay. When we looked at who was playing strike missions, we discovered that inexperienced players had low engagement with strike missions. Furthermore, players who wanted to raid still felt blocked due to difficulty concerns and challenges in finding a group to run them with. This is true. It like a lot of players don't know where to go. They don't know that you have to go to a specific Discord and that there are Discords that specialize in raid content or helping people with raids and strikes as well. This is true. This is a common theme with games. A lot of people don't know where to start, don't know the Discords to go to. Strike missions simply weren't being viewed as a stepping stone to raids that we originally intended. So since then, we've tried to reframe and clarify how difficulty levels work in our group instance content across both strike missions and raid game modes. Normal mode should be able to be completed by anyone interested in learning the content, while challenge mode is aimed toward our hardcore audience. We also have some plans, which we'll tease below, that will further clarify the intended difficulty level for raids for players. As we made plans to improve strike mission engagement, we came to realize that strikes and raids didn't need to be separate game modes at all. They were both squad-based instance content with similar levels of complexity. Raid wings were just longer and tend to have a bit more complexity per encounter than strike missions did. We're also paying some hidden costs by separating them, such as each mode having its own separate reward system that didn't incentivize cross-engagement. Not to mention that it was confusing for new players. Yes, this I agree with. I think definitely just having a standard, and again, a very requested feature is why did we have, if you do strikes and raids, they're different currencies, which means like if you do a bit of both, you're not, you know, kind of maximizing your reward output, right? Because if you want to get something from the vendor from strikes, well, then you need to get the stones, right? And if you want to do something from raids, then you got to get the raid token. So yeah, very much requested to have them combined. Strike missions will be known as raid encounters going forward and will be the siblings with the current raid wings within the larger raids game mode. This should make it easier for new players to understand and approach. So raiding in 2026. Combining these game modes offers us the opportunity to do much more than making things simpler to understand. Now, our first major update for Guild Wars 2's Visions of Eternity will also be adding the following to raids. A new raid UI with quality of life improvements. See in the screenshot below, we'll get into that in a bit. A list of all raid wings and raid encounters will allow you to go directly to the boss you want to tackle. The list includes encounter difficulty ratings to inform players. So that's actually very good to know what the actual difficulty is, and you kind of expect like what's the curve for this. A list of all raid wings and raid encounters will allow you to go directly to the boss you want to tackle. This is kind of interesting. They actually mean like you will get to, like if I go to wing 5, for example, do I just go directly to Doom? Was that what they kind of mean with that? Or do you still like, yeah, I'm assuming that's what they mean by that. Let me know if that is what I am interpreting it as. A new Guild Wars 2 Visions of Eternity raid encounter with a challenge mode, a second raid encounter, a challenge mode, and the legendary mode will come in subsequent updates. Yes, of course, very, very known that there's a raid encounter with VOE, with a challenge mode, and a second raid encounter with a challenge mode. That's big. Two raids is nice. This is a little bit of the UI. This is not bad, actually. Core game. You got Heart of Thorns. You got boss info as well. I think, you know, you just enter, right? You just go. Very good. I dig this. This is very good. These features allow us to better communicate difficulty levels for raids and address the significant quality of life issues that depress engagement. And as many of you have correctly surprised, the quick game domination will be debuted in as many of you have quickly surmised, the quick play mode feature that we debuted in the beta form for the Fractal Incursion bonus event will indeed be added to raids next year to help players find groups for the easiest raid encounters. We're very excited to see how this community engages with our merged raid game mode, and we'll share more details on how this will work in the coming months. Happy gaming. This is very exciting. Yeah, I think that people have been able to kind of like go into raids, right? Or go into fractals right now and sort of do a quick play. Like the group panel, the quick play group panel is basically like a dungeon fight in World of Warcraft. I'm actually all for this. I think like being able to just go in is very good. The LFG, most people, you know, it's been a thing that most people kind of like need to go through the LFG, and for some reason people just don't associate with the LFG. Like a lot of new players are intimidated by even doing it. Whereas quick play, you just kind of get into a group randomly. You know, I'm all for it. I'm very much for the merging of the game modes. This is something that is requested. It's going to be much easier finding groups. I think, in a sense, I don't see a reason why people shouldn't still go to Discord. I think that's still a very obvious thing that they need to do. But having the game modes combined, having the rewards combined, just makes it easier to do the things that you want to do. It doesn't feel like as limiting as before. So, very good update. I'm very excited to see how this goes. And more interested to see how more players who are very new to raid or instanced encounters react to it, and how they actually interact with this. So very good, very cool, very excited. We'll see it when we see it. And Visions of Eternity coming out anyway at the end of October 28th. So yeah, that's it for this video. Take care, YouTube. We'll see you when you see you.